I was thinking back to at the beginning of the lockdown measures when you told me, you said, once you give authoritarians power or any type of like, governing body, you grant them more power over your lives, they're not going to relinquish that easily. And I didn't believe you at the time. I opposed the lockdowns too, but I thought there's no way that they can extend this or will extend this beyond a couple weeks. And here we are almost a year later, and you
I
were
often
right.
get accused of being a cynic until like 2 years later, and then people are like, oh.
And you were right. And I was wondering if all of these things that you've kind of woken me up to this year, when sometimes I go on my rants, are you just sort of like, yeah, Carrie, welcome to the party? Like,
I totally. I mean, that's why sometimes like you have a lot more energy about ranting for this than I do, because I feel like I've ranted about it for a year, partly to you, and I'm like, I'm just sitting back. It's like I'm like watching this come to fruition. I'm like, this is an epic rant. This is great. Thank you. That's all I can say. It's just thank you for the rant. I would give you a super chat if I could.
But I'm just new to some of this. Yeah, like
no, it's great. It's great. But look, they and just for new people, and I've said this a few times before, but I'm going to say this because I want you to understand where I'm coming from personally. I have not always been like how do I want to say this? When COVID was starting, I was also an outlier. Our family sheltered in place. We locked down and didn't leave, and had a little bit preppers anyway. So we locked down and didn't leave for weeks, well before anyone said anything about COVID. While de Blasio was telling everyone to go to Chinatown and hug each other and swap spit, we were locked down, not ordering anything, eating from our food supplies. Like my daughter who had been pulled out of school, we were in lockdown. And we were in lockdown precisely because we knew something was going on in China. We knew it was going to hit. At the time, the information we had was that it was really bad because China was freaking out. And obviously, it's difficult to get information out of China. So we erred on the side of caution, and we locked down. Fast forward to where we are now, although even at the time, I never argued for government lockdowns. I always said it should be a personal choice. No one should be forced to lock down. It's a personal choice because authoritarian control is way deadlier than any virus you could possibly imagine. So we don't want that. That's the worst possible thing. But so when people now see me kind of scoff at masks and kind of like, it's not as big of a deal, or and I'm not on the Fauci side. I'm not rah COVID. I'm not going to take a vaccine. I'm not, I'm kind of a little bit lackadaisical about it. Well, that's because the evidence has changed, and I've been trying to pay attention to the evidence, and
you've gotten more information.
Yeah, but and you don't have to do what I'm doing. I'm not saying that whatever's right for you, you do. We're a relatively low risk family. We don't have any, it's not living with any old people with pre-existing conditions or anything like that. So we have relatively low risk. But the point is, use your own damn judgment. Use your own damn judgment. I don't care what your judgment is. It can be that I was ludicrous for locking down. It can be that we should stay locked down for years. Whatever your judgment is, use it. It's your judgment. You're responsible for your own life. Use your own judgment. Stop substituting the judgment of either Fauci or CNN or Cuomo or your friends or leaders on the right who are telling you, it's a hoax, blah, blah, blah. Stop substituting your judgment with other people's judgment. Stop doing that. You are responsible for your own life. Use your judgment. That's what liberty requires. If you want to live in a free society, you are required to be responsible for yourself and hold yourself accountable and accept the consequences of your own behavior and your own actions. That's what you've got to do. So I think people on the right who also don't think about this and just accept whatever the leaders on the right are saying about it are also sheep. They're just sheep in a different pasture. We need independent thinkers to make up their own minds. You are responsible for making up your own mind. And I recommend reading both sides of it, looking a little bit about, you don't have to be an expert in science, but look at it, consider your own risks, see what data you can get, and then just make a judgment call. You want to, so everyone has different risk tolerances. Stepping out of the door every morning, no matter whether there's COVID in the world or not, is a risk. Stepping outside is a risk. Sleeping is a risk. I mean,
Driving
a tree could
is
fall
the
on
risk.
your bed. Like everything is a risk. Like the world is full of risks. Everyone has different risk tolerances. Some people like to go skydiving and paragliding and climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Other people like to drive 20 miles an hour in the right-hand lane with their blinkers on. Like, okay, we all have different risk profiles. That's fine. Manage your own risk profile. Stop looking for a parent to tell you what to do, because if you look to a parent, you've already lost. It doesn't matter whether the parent is right or wrong. You have lost your humanity. You're no longer a person. You don't count as an individual anymore. You're a sheep at that point. What the hell do you need liberty for?